Okay, what's going on, Grand Rising? Today is Monday, April the 22nd, 2024. What I'm going to do here really quickly is just kind of go over a top-down analysis here before New York Open. This is an episode of Into the Future, so we will be trading futures contracts. We will be trading some CFD on the swing potentially as well, but our focus will be live on sniping the futures. Now, really quick, I do want to show, we're coming into the pretty much the last week, I would say, of April. And if you look at this from a monthly perspective, just looking here at NQ, this since the beginning of the year, which would have been here, right? Started 2024. We had a bullish month of January, February, March, and then a huge pullback here going into April. Now, one thing you can tell though on the daily, if you look at all three of the assets, is how we've bounced off this down candle. So like we looked at that monthly, but now if we can look at that weekly as well, when you look at NQ, we're in a really good alignment with weekly, daily, and then as well coming off of 1, 2, 3, 4, weeks of bearishness and this huge week, which was just dramatic, is pretty crazy. And so now when you look at the daily, we've come off of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bearish days, and we took internal liquidity, filling a major imbalance, tapping the last down candle, and the 2024 Open. All right, so we pulled back to right where for the year after having a good 1, 2, 3 solid down days. So for me personally, seeing ES tap that last down candle on daily, and then that inside that 50% and that 5,000 psychological level, and then how they played the imbalance fill here on YM, to me, I think we might get a little pump back up. I'm looking for like 17,500s earlier this week. And then if I go down to, a little bit smaller of a time frame, like a 4 hour, you can see what time it is. Okay, cool, we're good. And then you look at this 4 hour time frame as well. You can kind of see how price is starting to shape up. I really think the stop losses are built at that 5120 on ES. I think there's a lot of liquidity to go grab here on YM, 39 whole level, 39.4, 39.5, right? So if we can start making our way up, all I'm looking at is inefficiencies to the upside, and then price areas where you'd want to exit those swing positions when it comes to like your CFD. So I like to exit above previous highs. So here, here 17,720s, 17,900s, and then this huge inefficiency here. So if we do start making our way up, I'll start attacking those areas. And if we don't, then we'll look to probably see price rally up to 17.4, fail, and then fall. So that's kind of my bias. We got about 2 minutes before the open, but I do think when you look across the board, like I said, from week all the way from the monthly, weekly, daily down, that we're in a spot where we could see a so I'm kind of, like I said, I'm anticipating on ES like a 51 bounce. All right, then when you go a little bit smaller here, we'll switch over to a snipe window for NQ in just 1 second. A little bit smaller, here intraday. This is the 1 hour. So, we have market open, we have 2024 open, all in the same spot, almost essentially, right? Because they're kind of like aligning. So there's this inefficiency here from where the price opened. I think that we could see price kind of rally down first and then go up at New York. So I'll kind of show that more intraday. Maybe price going below 17,200 first and then kind of accumulating. It could take the first 2 days of the week. It could happen today. Like we have no idea, but we just have to position ourselves based off the rules. And then really quick with just dollar, higher time frame with dollar. My bias is that we're bullish, right? I have my if then statement saying if we break 106.50, then I think we go and we take the highs here soon at 108, right? When you look at a little bit smaller time frame, 29, so we're about to switch over. When you look at it a little, this 4 hour directional play, we had that little break of structure on daily last week, which I thought, okay, if we go lower low, pull back up, and then we break 106 again, that we're going lower. So as of right now, we're going lower on EU, we're going higher on dollar. And so that's my bias, is that we're going to keep playing up into the 107 level potentially this week, and we'll kind of look at fundamentals and see as well. But we got about 30 seconds before the open, so I'm going to switch over to the snipe window here really quick. Remember, we're trying to take no more than 1 to 2 trades per day. We want to have that predetermined risk, and we want to have our predetermined take profits. So we're looking to, like I said, just be very patient here probably today. Nothing that I'm seeing, like we're just looking at this, that I'm just going to take off the bat. Okay, so we got about 3 seconds. I'm going to start marking up over here. Let's get it. Okay. I am watching Top Step here on the side, just kind of seeing. Okay, New York Open. Okay, and I'm watching the 3 assets on the 1 hour and their 15s over here on the other side as well. Just trying to make sure I'm keeping an idea of where their price action is. And so far, you do have a little bit of strength. You have no strength to me. 38,400 is kind of failing on YM, and ES isn't showing any signs of strength right now. So, this could sell down. This could be more selling. When I see something clear, like I said, I'll be looking to take it. That first initial move is down. So the first move is down, but I want to wait for the first 5 minutes because this is like harder price for me to play. Now if they run it up from here, I personally would let them run it up, like on this time frame. I'm not gonna try to attempt anything in that situation. All right. Looking at all three, all three are showing some bearishness on that 1 hour. Make sure everything's good over here. Very bearish push right there. So a lot of times I've been playing a lot of these 5-minute positions, but the way that this is almost like I call it like a bull flag, right? The way that this looks like this, I wouldn't want to play in that area personally. I'd rather be selective. But they're not saying that price can't show you what you want to see in these areas too, because you do have your last 5-minute low, your new high, right? So you could be, if you're a 15 5-minute player, I mean, it could be setting up for you. But I'm gonna be a little bit more patient today. We have let's see what news we had too. I know we had news at 7:30. I don't think we have any more news through the session though. Oh, there actually is news at 9. Awesome, cool. So I'll definitely be patient today here. Wait for something to frame up. Now, like I said, if they just start to rally off of this 17,272 area, then they do, But I usually don't like those, especially with the other 2 assets showing bearishness. So be patient here. Mm-hmm. So they could be holding that 1 hour structure though as well when you're looking at like a 1 hour 15.5 NQ. So it's definitely, if you took the buy, it's definitely aggressive. Nothing wrong with that. That's a good price action right there, right? Breakout of the level 17,300 and then closing above. So anything that pushes back down could possibly be a good area. Let me check it over here. I do kind of like this area, the way it's pushing below New York here. It's just kind of high. Like I said, the other 2 aren't showing any bullishness, but this could be the leader. Let me check over here. Sorry. Okay, just checking how the price looked over there too. So it's filling that imbalance, touching that level, 50% of the 15-minute candle. Now it's either going to do 2 things. I'm a better buyer than seller. So it could explode up to 17.2, right? AKA explode down. And trap a lot of people. And that's what I want to happen, because then if they do that, right, then I could definitely play lower. That'd be funner. It'd be a better position, but really want to see some kind of 5-minute strength before I just enter the market. And then my eyes are really focused here. right? This low to this high here. That's like my scoop right now, and then inside that area, I'm gonna read price action off these special levels. But if I don't see anything, it's okay. Still no price action that I really like yet. Now we can start getting some strength to close in that area. There might be something, but I just think they're going to go down to 17.2 first. So looking at ES, since the open, a little bit above 50.30, we've been bearish. YM above 38.400, pretty bearish. So they might start finding their way up here. Take one over here just to kind of have an area locked in. Okay. Okay, so I do like the push. All right, so I might have a contract in somewhere in this area. Take profits, stop rolls. And so this would be your risk, would be here. Stop loss. 17,264. Let's see if we have time. 264. Take profits are going to be 17,450s higher. Now, we'll see how this kind of shapes up. I'm watching this 5-minute, I'm watching this 1 as well. But I want to see how this is actually going to print. We are below New York Open. Now, if you look at YM, 38,400 has failed almost 200 points since the open. So let's see if we can maybe get a contract in here, possibly. So I just don't like the price action as much on here. But we'll see here. So being patient. I do like how it looks on the 1 hour 15 and 5 though. So it just kind of depends on how the price actually gets here, how it closes. Okay. Nothing yet, right? Still just pushing lower, so I'm gonna move this. So crazy today. So let's see. Maybe they have to do some internal sweeping, right? But the 5-minute is holding right now, right? So as you do this, you want to know this low in case you end up wanting to get in. 17,264 was that low. So I'm just kind of having it ready because I think I can build into the position possibly. And 450s. All right, so I kind of already pushed. I have the CFD locked in, but like I said, I want this one to be a little bit better. So let me move this here. Now you see how it's bouncing off that 15-minute last down candle, and then it's right in that good spot for 5-minute. So now it's like, okay, if you're late, wait for it to pull back and then still use the same stop loss placement counting up. It might already taken off, which like I said, it's okay on this one if I've missed on futures because I'd only need so many trades per week on there. But CFD looks pretty good there. It's a pretty good trade, I think. Once it breaks that 5-minute area and maybe comes back in New York taps, I might end up potentially taking an order, but I would want to see it close above there. Now this is pretty good here, how it's pushing right back into the area. Let's see. Let me look at the other two. The other two are still bearish in that 1 hour though, so the likelihood is a lot harder. Now how this 5 minutes is going to close, I think is going to be key. So I do like this price bouncing off this level. I think if I would have took it off that 277, I may have taken it, but I missed right under that level. So I don't. My goal this week is just making sure that my location and my trades are pretty phenomenal. That's like the goal. And so like right there would have been a hesitation, hesitating off that open tap to have my stop at that expected value low. And so I do have that CFD position. So if I see the CFD position break those 15 and 5 minute highs, then I'll probably just play that today and go no trade here. We'll see. Because this is the area, like I was saying, that I'm gonna take the trade. Right. And I just kind of hesitated on that part right there. So because that 5 minute opened and then closed, and then that next one opened, kind of came down, and now it's pushing. Right. So 5 minute structure essentially right now, not saying for good, but right now currently is holding, right? And now your 15 is tapping right off that down candle's open and 50%. And you can almost anticipate a 17,400 tap or maybe 17,440s if the 5 minute can break higher than 17,300. So I'm not for sure if it can or not, but let me pull this over here. We can watch that price like this. And overall, I mean, when you look at the 5 minute and you come back and study this price, this looks good. I mean, especially if you can line graph up and go higher high. Looking at the other two, they are still pulling back on that 1 hour. You're having YM filling the inefficiency at 38,260s, 250s. And so I think there may be a bounce off that 38.2. And then I think we are going to get a pump up here on NQ to the 17,400s. So I am in the process of moving today and tomorrow and the next day. So I'm going to be, my goal is is really like usually we have 5 days a week, but I'm pretty much have 4 days this week to trade futures. So I need to go 2 for 2 at minimum, right, with my setups. And preferably, I'd love to still win 3 days out of the 4 a week. That'd be great. So let me reduce some down on the CFD here. Okay, that's good. Already reduced. So they're kind of playing at that area, 17,300 here on futures. I'm going to move this because I don't think I'm going to take a trade right now and there. But just watching price action as we're tapping away, right? If this next 5 minute candle can close 845 above New York Open, then the sellers from New York Open stop losses are most likely at 17,300 and the high of the day, which is going to be 17,314s. But you see how they're majorly failing at that level. That's why I didn't take a trade right here, because I'd rather wait for them to fail this, 5 minute level like they're doing here, and then kind of scoop up more orders. So I basically could be entering again right here for futures. Like I could have waited for it to go right under this wick, come into that 273, and then put my stop here. But me personally, like I said, I want to wait until they come a little bit lower than the market open. Right, I'd love to see them come down in here. Looking at that 1 hour for ES, it's 1 hour in YM's, 1 hour bearish. So looking at that price action together, that's kind of what I'm seeing. And so I could be taking a chance here, honestly, guys. I really could. But I'm gonna be patient. But I do like that price. 30 to 35, 35 to 40. Wait, what's this 35 there? So still just watching that price. All three. Okay, 40. It's a good price right there. So basically that's what I was saying. You could definitely, when you get it's called a point of interest candle or point of reference, excuse me. So this is my point of reference candle. Once I have that candle, the price rallied and came back. Now I'm either entering off the open or the 50%, and I'm putting my risk at the low. So I always like to count up from the bottom, right? So that was the bottom, and then into that area of interest to play would only be a 10-point risk. So taking a trade like this, if it was to work out and you have a 10-point risk, just blasting the highs of 340s would be, pretty much a 1 to 4, 1 to 5. But still being patient here today because, like I said, we do have like a little bit of news at 9, and essentially since the New York Open, we haven't went anywhere, right? Like the price action looks good, right? The 15.5 here. And let me also show like this how this looks. And so like that 1 hour's made higher highs. It's kind of went sideways over the last few hours, right? These last 4 or 5 hours. And now I think that we're just chopping people up on small time frames and we're done with that. Now you'll see price run up to those 17.4s. Okay, I was trying to make sure that my CFD position was playing around. So if we can get that, that would be great. And if we don't, then like I said, I think they'll play lower than the market open levels. Because this is just too much. You want to see this type of area. It's rejected the levels 1, 2, 3. It should go take those stop losses out after it breaks that whole level really violently. Okay, so that looks good. So, didn't take it on futures. It's okay. No trade is still as good as a winning trade to me. I did take it on CFD. The alignment's all good. So kind of show how it looks over there really quickly. I don't know if this window has that in New York, but it's going to look the exact same. And so basically what I was looking for was that 5-minute had closed. You basically had got that rally. Price came back and touched. I ended up getting 17,150, and I'm holding 17,150 with a stop loss of 17,135. So about a 15, I think, point risk. Yeah, it's about a 15-point risk. Plan to shave most of the trade off on that at about 45 points. Let's see if we can get this push on through. And then looking at the other 1 hours, to me, I would say this when you're looking at all three, they're all, which is very important, right? Is how NQ is inside this 50%, testing under New York Open, but looking very strong. And then if you focus on ES as well, you have that 1 hour down candle where price overnight, right? Made the high, higher low, higher high, and they're still playing inside of that level 50.26. Right. So if price, as you can see on all three, like I'm watching here, they're filling an imbalance on on YM at the right time. Right. They're filling that at the right time. Now, if they fill that and they extend that back up to back up into this last up candle, 47, 50, 50, then I would anticipate for sure that NQ can at least take this wick out. You see what I mean? Between the end of the day, you have 17,360s, 17,350s. No wick right here. So I could definitely see price coming up into the 17,400s, 17,420s potentially if you get those closures here soon. So that's that push you want to see on NQ. So it's good. Like I said, if I don't end up taking a trade here on futures, it's still good price action to watch and how we're patient. Because sometimes, like I said, you can like, well, damn, I might as well just get in. Right, I might as well just follow in, and you're like, damn, you have that fear of missing out here. This is why you need to have multiple accounts, right? This is why you need to have multiple accounts because that way you're not sitting there like, damn, forcing yourself to do something that you don't want to do. But our CFD position's really in profit quite a bit, so that's really good. And then just watching the price action play exactly how we want to see here. So let's see what we get. First 15 minutes already closed, so. With that first 15-minute closing like that from 8:30 to 8:45, basically just 15 to 5, just getting orders and running them out. Now, what you can anticipate, like I said, with this next 15-minute close is you have a higher open, higher close, and you have a break of structure. So what do you start doing? You start looking left up the hill, right? And wicks aren't your friends. So, same positions I'm targeting on my CFD, you got these 2 wicks here. You have your next whole level. If you look at, one thing I didn't mark today, wow, I didn't even realize that, was the previous day high. So previous day high is right here as well, which I kind of already knew the price because I wrote it down, but I just didn't mark it. I don't know why. So let's do this, previous day high. So that's going to be a huge target on my CFD where I'm going to parcel, right? Previous day high, because that's Friday's high. And so why am I looking at that high? Now, because I'm able to use my fibs to gauge everything, right? So I like to do it like this. Here, let's just go in this window for a second. Your previous day high to the low, right? And when you look at that, you know, if you have a buy position, anything that goes above 17,400, I would say you want to be, you know, selling back to the marketplace because you're above the 50% of that swing. All right. So that looks really good to continue based off the Fibonacci retracements. And I would say, like, if you did have a CFD position on, you know, say you took it here, we were looking at 839, and maybe you didn't take it there and you waited a little bit more patient to that last 15 minutes, like you should, right? And then price was in here. Well, right here, I would be definitely selling back some of my position. So, matter of fact, okay, I was trying to make sure I have it over here on CFD the right way. Yeah, you'd be selling back as soon as you get a fast push. So, and make sure there is some actually taking off there. I can always add into CFD. All right. Okay, so I got about $2 left on there. So essentially that's a micro contract, right? If you're trading any of those CFDs. I know I just have a couple of people that are still trying to do that. So what I'm focused on here is 5-minute price more than anything, and then 1-minute price possibly breaking structure. But once they ran those highs, it looks pretty good. And then now you're looking at ES really respect that 50-20 level, like 50-25s, 50-20. And I think that's where we'll see a lot here. Okay, let me make sure I've reduced this. Make sure I took some back today. Okay, so that's rocking now. Equity 430s. Okay. Cool. So no matter what, it's a profitable day on that position on CFD, and then I'm able to just kind of monitor and read price here today, read the tape. Now, like I said, when it comes to, I want to show ES here really quick on that 15. Actually, we'll go over that later. But, you know, I definitely partial some of my position on that CFD to knock it down to about, you know, basically I had $4 a point, knocked it down to 2, and then went ahead and trailed the risk on the rest of the move from where I got in. So CFD price, I really like 17,800, and I'll show that here in a second. Price can go to 17,800. That'd be pretty crazy. But like I said, looking at them all across the board, like 4 hour, 1 hour, and then I have the daily as well. I want to show the 4 hour here really quick, especially for NQ. 1 hours look beautiful here. Good daily bounce from Friday too, so they're really good price, I think. Now, if you look at this 4 hour of all three, we're just in an area of, I think, possible accumulation. Now, the hard part is we could move more down on YM because the candle is like this, right? That's the down candle. We're inside the down candle on ES playing perfectly inside that 50% essentially. And then if you guys look at NQ, the reason why I bought NQ is because I wanted to play the open below New York Open of this 4 hour candle. All right. So the open of the 50%. And then if you can take that position up, you know, to that previous day high is about what 300 points. All right. So like that position is really kind of coming off of last week's position, right? Which I actually ended up losing on Friday. For the like not on TFD, but on futures like live session, I did lose. So it's kind of coming off of how they dragged everyone out on Friday. Kept wanting to see that buy, wanting to see that buy to finally, you know, opening with a gap, and then price basically playing pretty bullish here at the New York. But going into this first hour close, I would say, let me look at this really quick. Going into this first hour close, you know, ES looks like the one to me that if this hour and 5 minutes closes, you know, above where it's at now, pretty much 50-30s, 50-29s, then I think that can extend up to that 50-50. And then for sure on NQ, I'm looking at like 17,350, 17,400 if it can continue to close. So you want to really focus, for me personally, I want to focus on 5-minute closure. So like this one 5-minute pullback after a breakout of a range, you know, you can get a little bit of bearishness. And then that next few candles right after that should turn up if it's bullish. All right, so you can have candles like that. But if the hour is going to close how we anticipate, which is above 17.3 and possible 17.325s, right? Right, basically above here, then we'd want to see this kind of turning up in this area. And I do believe possibly on here, this may be a no trade day for me on futures. I already have the other position. And I already have it tapered off. So maybe there'll be something that comes back down. But I personally don't think I'm going to attempt something that comes back down again to that area. We'll see. Depends on how the candles close. Like they've already closed the 5-minute higher high, so they have shown me the confirmation. So if they close 15-minute higher than this area here, and then it transitions and plays back in, I may take that trade then. Potentially. And I do kind of like imbalance fills, and I like to wait for like when I know that this type of situation is happening, I like to wait for the engulfing here, and I like to put my risk here. So we might end up finding something here to play up to the 17.4s. But yeah, so these areas look good. Like I said, and if you keep getting that ES to show that strength, then so basically you'd be getting in here, putting your risk either here or here, which if you count up from here, that entry would be a 10-point risk. Here 8-point risk and then 50% of that imbalance. So that would be like a 15er right there, just to this low. Right. So now it's like, well, is that below New York Open? No. So you probably want to, if you want to follow that rule, either want to be at, below, or right. I mean, like right at this liquidity sweep, 17,291 to enter again. So you might factor some of that up, honestly. Look at this, the low here, 264s. So I am going to kind of like at least have an area of interest. 264, 264, 264. Take profits are in the 50s. Let's just do that really quick. Okay. So now it's kind of like if price was to come back below that, let me see here, back below this New York Open, then it could be a potential, and it slips right under that wick. So that 288, 290 area could be nice. And then, 284, just to know where it's at, would be like right in here. So if they continue to rally that price, and that's fine because we only have a few minutes left. And like I said, looking at that 1 hour on all three, the way NQ is getting ready to print looks like a higher high. And ES seems like she's getting ready to push those 50-30s out and push up to 50-40. So like I said, I'm not going to force my way into this on futures. I'll just be patient and let it come to me. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, then I hold the CFD. But push down fast like that looks good. I ain't gonna lie. The 288s. Now let's see. Push down doesn't look bad. Anything at or below New York Open is, pretty close. So that's a lower low close in that 1 minute. So they could rally it right there, honestly, if they wanted to. I think I'm waiting for a little tap though. I want to be at or below on a Monday. And looking at ES, they're in that 50-29 with this 1 hour closing. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. I don't think when you're looking at that 15 right above my entry area here. So at or below, right? So let's see if I want this or not. The 84s is kind of what I would really want to make this what I want, but right under that wick right here, pretty much. I'm going to take one here. All right, stop loss is at that 5-minute low, anticipating that this 9 a.m. will switch. And if it doesn't, then it's just going to run out the lows on this position, which I only will take one here today. So if we can rally back up to the highs here, 17,330s fairly quickly, then that'll be my position of the day, and I'll probably be done. But that momentum is, oh, my risk is inside that 5-minute internal. It kind of sucks, but like I said, if we push the high 17,330 faster, then we could go down first, then I think we'll be okay. Price is good though, below the New York Open. I feel good about that. My actual order is below New York Open too, so I feel really good about it. Okay. So where are we trying to get to, right? Right above these wicks, 17,450s area. And when we break, like say I take a 5-minute position like this, when we break this 5-minute structure, like say we go higher high here, I'll cap this trade off. So I have a 20-point risk. I basically got, well, they gave me my fill price was 270 or 287. So if you count down 20, it'd be 77.67. And my entry is 60, or my stop loss is at 64. So it's about a 20-point risk. So at that point, as soon as they push that high, I'm going to reduce this down to right here, which would be like 280s. So I'd have about a 7-point risk on the table. But that looks like a pretty good factor in trade that I just took. ES just exploded up 50-34s. So like I said, if we can get that push above this 5-minute high, 17,330s, and that's going to be pretty good. I think that we could have a chance to at least push 17,350s, and then that would be really nice to see 17,400. But let's see. So right now I'm up about a 1-to-1, right? Because a $400 risk. I'm up 400. So, and then the CFD position, I'm just, obviously just letting that do its thing. So let's see if this can work out for us today. Now, when you get to about a 1-to-2, so like if you have like me here, I have a $400 risk. When I'm at about $800 in profit, I also can move that down to this next 5-minute low. Okay, so we are watching this a little bit, but not really. We're watching 15 and 5 mostly in price action here. We want to see how this 5 minutes going to close in about 2 minutes and 40 seconds. The more it attacks the 17.3s, the better, because then it could just fail out and go lower first before it goes higher. Okay. And ES, I just want to see ES go hit that 50-50, but they may make it difficult. If they close any more below here on 17 or than 300, 17,300 on NQ, not as good, to be honest. But we can get this 5 minute to close above 17,300 and London Open. I think we at minimum go to 17,350s. I don't like that rejection, but we'll see how the 5 minute closes. I have everything set up over there. Good. Okay, that's looking so good. Can't lie. But we gotta watch that 5 minute price. That 1 minute could slip. That's why I have my positioning and my risk placement at the 5 minute low. But we are still respecting New York Open. ES is showing some bull signs on that 1 hour at 50-30. So we'll see. Like I said, they close any more really on the 5 minute below New York Open and it will fall. So okay, so let's watch this 5 minute close. Like I said, if we can get some volume pumping in here, they close above New York and 17.3. I think there's a good chance we'll push the 17,330s out. And I'll be able to cap this off and see whatever happens. But we're still kind of in the woods right now. And then looking at ES, it looks pretty bullish on that 1 hour. It's pushing above 50-32s now. So YM showing bullishness too from that internal sweep. So, we'll see. Like I said, I'll have more confidence that the 5 minute can close higher here than New York. That's a pretty good close. So now now what I'm focused on is 17.3 and then the internal wicks right here, these two. So this one right here and then this one right here. They can start closing above, basically like right here on the 1 minute and right here, and push the price action out on the line graph, right? Then those areas 17.312s, then they may have a chance. But if not, then they could fail this area. But it's all about New York Open and how this 15 minutes going to close to me going into the end of the day. That 15 can stay strong like that, right? And go start doing this and take those highs, and there's a good chance that we're definitely going to rally out that wick. But it's kind of tough sitting there too long. I like ES, I like YM, how they look on the 1 hour. So, you know, those look pretty good to at least ES to 50-50 potentially. If they can hold this 5 minute price, like right now, that 5 minute price is looking kind of trash. So they could slip my 5 minute area too and hit that 17,260 and just that could be it. You know, they could actually rally from there. But if they do, they do. I'm not tripping on that. Its price is just kind of stalling when you look at like a 4 hour, 1 hour. So getting weaker here now from that 17.3. CFD is looking so good. So they are pushing down. So what I'm hoping is that they just slip. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, I was like, what? Okay, so what I'm hoping is they just slip this this price inside here, and then right from here that they'll rally. Because this is basically that 5 minute fill. People see the breakout and they start selling, thinking it's going to go lower, and then it just runs up on them so fast they can't even breathe. And so that's what I'm anticipating here. If you get a 5 minute close now above 17,300 anymore. ES looks strong, 50-30 still. You move this so we can really kind of see the price action here. And so now what I'm anticipating here, when you look at just price action in general, right, is, you know, basically this new high, higher low, and then start attacking because we've been in this area for quite some time now. That's not a good open. We want the 1 minute to go back and close above New York Open and close to 17,300 if it's going to work here on the 15.5 position. They're all kind of flattening out a little bit. So we'll be patient. They're kind of pushing down here now. I'm just hoping they're just like absorbing that 5 minute liquidity at that 17,275 quarter. And that 5 minute and the next minute will close above New York, and that would be a pretty good sign. That looks pretty good. Because now we have this 5 minute close that we need to close strong, and no more 1 minute breaks of structure before that. And then we'd be only waiting on the 15 minute to close. So if you get a 5 minute close strong, great. Then you'd be waiting on the 15. If not, and it goes and takes the stop losses, you know, I'm protected on CFD here. This would be a loss, and then I may take one other position, but maybe not, because I only, like I said, I probably just want this predetermined R&R for the day, and then I'll have to look for something else later in the week. Yeah, sounding good. So I'm not saying that the position is completely over. That's where I ended up getting stopped, but this was, I have my stop loss internal, so I really like to have it down in here. So like I said, I think it's a little high on the day. Let me make sure it took me over there. Okay, good. And then looking at ES and YM, like I said, this could be the exact area that they end up working, which is going to be this 5-minute down candle area. So it just doesn't look as good to me if I was buying this on a 15. I would rather these people get blasted. So we'll kind of see what they give us here going into 9:15. Now, if they end up just taking that area and then responding in this area, because I'm watching this 15-minute down candle, I still would start potentially looking at taking one other trade here. So I'm going to at least frame it up because I feel like they are on the ES still really strong. I need to know this low, 263.50. 263.50, and then take profits are going to be the 450s. We'll probably rearrange that. Okay, so now it's back in that area and it's below New York Open. So I want to see it pop above and then come down like this. Now I already have my stop loss low, right? Which is going to be the 263s. So I wanted to kind of fill more down. It's inside the 5-minute candle good, but it hasn't went higher in the 5 minutes. So that kind of makes me nervous. But we'll see here. Looking at ES and YN, they look still very strong. So I'm gonna do this here. Do this here. Okay. I like the price though, right? I kind of want to see a little bit more like push and then pull back. So, but that is a really tight position there. And essentially it'd be my almost the same entry price. So I'm kind of waiting here. It's kind of high on the 1 hour, 15-minute swing and things though. That's what I don't like. But with ES and YM showing so much bullishness, it's a little bit different. So this is going to be your 284s. So where's that? Okay, they have a tap down there, right? When I was looking at 83s. That'd be a 20-point risk. So probably in this area, let's see that 1 minute close. See how it kind of closes here. And I want to be inside that candle though. And I want to be below New York. So ES still holding pretty strong on that 1 hour, 50-30s. So we'll see what we get here. Nothing but lower low, lower high on that 5 minute to lower low. So it's kind of like I said, it's gonna have to be patient here. Now, if it does exactly that, right? We have about 1 minute 50 seconds, and if it pulls back below New York, I would factor in most likely. But it doesn't look strong yet to me. And I'm probably wanting to buy the 9:14 1 minute close because that 5 minute looks good, right? If it closed right now, I'd be bullish. So I want to make sure that I'm playing the lowest part of it if I can. That's why I'm waiting on timing here. That's really reduced the risk down right there. The 283s. So nothing yet. All right. Continue to watch here. ES is below 50-30 now. So they might find some weakness here. So down into that 5 minute area perfectly. So this would be the rearrangement. But like I said, they could, if I was buying this, if I had to buy it, I would be wanting to see them rally it. But there's the 5 minute touch. And so now I kind of want to, this would be the only area I'd watch again to see if they can rally up here on the 5. And so if you were taking it off this area, you basically would want like one of these areas to be your stop. So 252, I would say. Way too, not too much of risk there, honestly. 252. So this low right here, this 5-minute low was 260.25. Okay. Still like the positioning here. We'll see. ES still 50.28. It's 9:15. So yeah. So they may want that market open first today. We'll see. But they still have failed to ever yet break this area here, the 5. So 260.25. Now, if they break that 5-minute low, then I'll definitely wait because I got other stuff I got to do today. But high push. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Pushing like that. Can move this really quick. Yeah, I guess, when you look at this, like I'm a better buyer, like I always say, than seller. And so, like when you look at this upside down, playing on the right side of the V has already kind of happened today and the point of interest play. So it's like the only people that have a chance to lose are London lows here and then like down in here, market open. So unless you have like this you have a new 5-minute swing, so they are showing signs of strength. So unless you have a break of structure lower here, then this may hold. So I'm gonna keep knowing this 5-minute low, 260.25. And the only reason I'm framing it up is because I don't want to hesitate when it comes to the time. 260.25. Take profits, 250s, 450, excuse me. I almost pressed buy. Okay, so just waiting. CFD position just hit break even, so I had partial on it, so it's good. Made like $100, I think. Not bad. Okay, so still looking at this. Like I said, looks like we're pushing that area, and it looks like ES is failing that 50-30 level. So that makes sense. That means it's just going to be a PM type of day, right? If they break the 5-minute lows. So now that you're at the 5-minute lows, right, and you haven't broke this area, like until a candle closes lower, you just want to know this low. And this low is 17,246.25. So 246.25, right? Because now if you're buying this 5-minute position, like we like to do a lot of the times, then you could wait for the responses and wait for those, subtle things to happen. And you have your risk, right? You know where your risk would be. So I like this position in here. If we can get the responses that I want to see in this area, then great. Because I do think they could carry up potentially. Indecision candle too right here. So where is this going to be at? The low here is 252s. So 252, 52.50. I think that's what it said. 252 flat. Yeah, so watching that reaction off that 5-minute last down candle, watching this 5-minute close in 23 seconds, and that there was something that happened that showed me like the price action I want to see, then I may take that position to the other side off this 5-minute close. But looking at ES, we're already pushing lower than 50-30. We're at 50-25s almost. And just that 17,200 level just looks really good on on the 1 hour. So if I don't see it here on futures, I'll probably be it for me on futures because my CFD did hit break even after the partial. Mm, 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 mm. And I'll come back and evaluate this price because I did want to, like when I flipped it upside down, I did want to see a buy into the 17.2s. And then I was like, well, why would we stop at 17.2? We could go to 17.113s and lower, right? Um, but I think we're going to be caught in between prices. So this one would not work today if this was, obviously right here because they're already kind of running that price and they're getting ready to close lower than that price. So this is definitely not going to work here. Now as we come into, like I said, the 2024 open and 17,200 and this gap that was created at the opening day range, that could be interesting though, right? With the last 15 minutes of the hour. So I think what I'm gonna do is just kind of watch here from 9:20 to that last 15 minutes. If there's something that I see is valuable, potentially off that 17.2 below market open, below 2024 open, I may look for something down there, but I don't want to look for another trade yet. So let's see what we get. And then ES kind of fell in that 50-30 level, and YM still pretty much in the same spot. So now they've taken some liquidity though. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens at the market open because I feel like there'll be manipulation at market open, but we'll see. And then real quick too, if you're studying like, the same type of price action on across the board, there's equal lows on ES pretty much at like the 50-10 level, right where the opening day price is. So when they fill that inefficiency in that gap at 50-10, there could be, the same reaction that we get here on NQ. So I'm gonna let them run people out. I'll come back here and just look at the price at 9:30. And if we're below 17,150 before 10 a.m., then this thing's gonna fall off a cliff. Let me check the higher time frames really quick before I go in here really fast. 4 hours just to me is just a pullback into the area I would like. And then when you look at the dailies of all three across the board, um, YM is still looking like a bullish day that could extend up to 38.6 potentially. And then ES still looks like, based off that daily balance, and if we can close above 5,000 here. And the only one that doesn't look as promising, I would say, off that bounce level of 17.2 is NQ. So they may be searching for liquidity from that low to this high before they decide to do anything. But we'll see. I'll be back. So this is a good sell-off. If you look at the area, right, they're just filling the inefficiency, right? They're coming for the same one on ES, which is they've already touched that inefficiency on YM, right? They did it early. So now all they're doing is they're coming for the same one, right? Like 50.08 and 3/4, and they're doing the same thing here. Now, if you get a response in this area going into the last 15 minutes of this hour, going into 10, a lot of the times price will, come back up on those people fairly quickly too. But we are in a bearish market. So if you look at the overall, dailies, like I was showing earlier today, this is what, may have me only take one trade, is you still have a pretty good daily response off ES's down candle. This was a nice sweep of liquidity with some more bullish price action on the intraday. And then if you look at this, we have that last down candle looking left, the 50% right under that 17,100 area. It really is going to come down to how this day wants to print after coming off of, those three large days. So for me, like I said, I'm going to keep monitoring this small time price action and see if there's a transition and see if there's a play to attack shorts at New York. Because until essentially now for me on this 15-minute, until they break, this low here, right? Then this is your swing low, this is your new swing high. And then when you're fibbing your move of the day and this is if you had shorts on take profits as well. I'd like to take profit at breaks of structure and below 50% of the swing of the move. So like now you're starting to see that the imbalance fill, and now you're going to want to wait for that smaller time price action at the right time to align to find a trade. So like right now 9:30 is a really good time sometimes. So like when it does this and pulls back down, right, you want to know that low 17,182, right? And I like that type of price. Let's see here. Okay, I'm just looking over here at 17,182. So I want to know that stop loss low. 17,182 and a quarter. 182 and a quarter. Take profits are going to be 17,400s and higher. Right. And so now you don't want to play it like it's doing this. You want to wait for it to come back down. So the 15-minute looks like a good reaction, right? 5 minutes a good reaction. So now if like that 5 minute can close higher high and give you the signal, then anything back down to 17.2 probably could be a pretty good trade. So it's about a 20-point risk to the lows, right? Even from right there, right? So not a bad risk. But like I said, I'd like to see some more price action that shows me a little bit more here to take the futures position. Now on CFD, sometimes I'm a little aggressive, but how you do sometimes how you do everything. So you want to definitely practice how you're going to play. I'm very conservative with this, I would say more as my trading style. And then, like I said, a little bit more aggressive with CFD. We already have the lows set though, right from that 5 minute. Yeah, that's the right lows. So now as it pushes back down, you're below market, you're below the open of the year, you're definitely below all points of interest. So maybe there's hesitation in here once it closed higher, but there's still a little inefficiency here at 17.2 that I would like. So if we can stay right here, push higher, last 15 minutes of the hour, maybe it gives me that chance. Or maybe it pushes like right in here now. But this is a little premature. But I do like the prices where they're at. And then let me look at all three. Have the dailies up. I want to look at that smaller time frame really quick. And so all it did was they may not even go to that imbalance fill on ES. We don't know, Sometimes they leave them open. But that would be the area I'd like right here, like what you're getting and seeing is that inefficiency fill at the whole level. Right. Would make me a little bit more confident. Like I said, 5 minute closure higher here in the next minute. And then understanding where we're at here on this 15. Right. see if they fail the 7. You're not getting the 5-minute area to do the signal, basically. All right. You want that 5-minute to close higher than the 2024 open mark. Now you could be, if you're a 1-minute player, you could be playing that inefficiency fill, but it's at the wrong time to me. 9:30 is not bad, but it's not the last 15 or first 15. So. And I like where we're at on the 1 hour here of price action. So. Right now you have ES still printing below now 50-20, making like a lower low on that 1 hour. So we'll see how those close too. But then you have YM still holding after the inefficiency fill. So kind of just an area you're wanting to see 5-minute, 15-minute price work out together. But that looks pretty good. But that could definitely trick people. So we'll see. But it is a good inefficiency fill and it's in the right spot, I would say, on a 5-minute. So to get that push in this area, this is definitely, like I was saying, instead of buying it up when it's up here, as it pulled back at least at 17.2 would be better for that favorable R&R to the lows. I want to see a little bit more price action though if I'm going to take this, because if I can get something to start kind of playing and showing some volume going into the right time, it's only 9:35, then I'd love to play back to the high of the day, which would be 17,331s. So I did take the position a little bit early here on CFD, so we'll see if we can wait a little bit longer for the 5-minute here in futures. Good little bounce up that area. And I think it looks good on the 5. So like I said, I'll wait for this compo to enter today. Good reaction there. Okay, that's a good reaction right there. Good 15-minute area after the inefficiency fill. And now, like I said, the only way that would make me pretty confident in this is if they had a good 5-minute close above 17,216, and then if price could come back and kind of tap that area, I'd probably play it. But if we continue to get, failures here, I would say, on this 15 and 5 and it doesn't show any signs, then they probably will push it lower. I kind of like this area. If I was to put my risk here, it'd be internal though. So I need to wait just a couple more minutes here, it looks like. So that 5-minute price looks really good. That's what I like to see. Now, if they can go close by 9:40 higher, anything that pulls back down, I'll probably take to the upside and be attacking to exit most of my position right above New York Open, like about 80% of the position. If. Mhm. So no 5 minute right now. Let's see how this 5 minute closes. If it closes above 17.2, then it may, but if it doesn't, then I think they might sell off to the lows. Good price there. So I may factor in, like, if this can close higher here, I may factor in on this low, if that makes sense. Now, this low would be 17,197 and a quarter. All right, so 197, 97 and a quarter. Well, why would I do that? Because I'm wanting to play that 5 minute and keep my wrist tight, and then I could also re-enter if I wanted to. Okay. So bam, there's that 5 minute signal at 9:40 a.m. Kind of tapping above that area. So that's good, And so now if it comes back, right, under New York or under the 2024 Open, I want to play that 5 minute open tap. So 17,214s. Okay. So I want from 9:40 and 9:45, boom, close up there. And then from 45 to 50, I'd be looking for something around the 17.2 area, most likely. And ES never took that 50-10 imbalance. So they're kind of pushing back at 50-20 right now. So I like how they're pushing back below here. So I want to get like a 50 somewhere inside the 5 minute candle here like this. Would be really nice. What's my risk now on this? So my risk would end up going right here, which is internal, which is, I'd rather it be a little bit lower, but for this position, I mean, I hesitated. So that's what I was saying. As soon as it tapped into that candle, your risk could go on this low right here. Like I said, I'm pretty loaded on this other position, so that might be it right there. We'll see. That might be it right there. Because, like I said, when they went right back below the open and you put your risk here, you only have, based off your reference candle, you only have a 10-point risk basically. 15-point risk to be safe. So 15 for 45 type situation, we're thinking in probabilities, right? That would be getting above 17,250, 17,260s would be a 1 to 3. All right. So the way that that's already responded, and I do have CFD positions locked in, I may end up walking from the futures today and just accepting that one loss. But we'll see here. Any pushes back below in that same area, I wouldn't mind. But I want price to be below market open. It's just the way it already tapped. I'm just showing you guys the focus candle, but the way it already tapped is kind of, preferably it'd be kind of nice to see them slip this internal, hit this 17,197, and then have your risk here. That would be really nice. To be real. So I'm gonna be patient here and kind of wait. And I like the 1 hour had all looking across the board. So if they take off here, this would be perfect for the CFD. Because the CFD, like I'll show you guys, it looks no different. Same position. Right. Same exact position. See how this 5 minute closes here really quick. All right, so it's 5 minutes getting ready to close for 9:45. So it's, if it closes bullish, great. And then anything that goes back inside that area from 17.2 to 17.210 is probably pretty good. And really 17.180s to 17.2 would be nice. So on a trade like this, you want to know that 5 minute low, just in case it does slip to internal. 17.182 and a quarter. So like you could just kind of start framing it up. 182 and a quarter. Now, if you can get the price you wanted that stop loss low, you can always trail your risk up to that level later, right? So let's watch this 5 minute close because I do like how that looks. And I want to see a solid candle close here, at least a white candle close here above that orange line. That risk would be way too much for what I want. So that, boom, it closed perfectly though, right? Right back into the 2024 open. So this is going to be the last 15 minutes of the hour. I'm going to check the other two assets here really quick. The other twos, 15s don't look so bad either. You're looking at ES. It's just kind of at that 50-20 level. I think this one looks the best though. So if I was to get in, I want to put my risk here, 17,197 and a quarter. 97 and a quarter. Okay. So let it come back into here, and I'll probably play this candle. What would that be? I might hesitate it again, unfortunately. Jesus, come on, bye. So this would be like the low, I would say here too, but I like this low at 197 quarter. 2024 open. I just want to see. I want to see it slip a little bit. 15 minutes are holding that 50-20 level in ES. You don't really see bearishness on YM right now from the 38-300s. So the better fill you're going to get is going to be the 50% fill, right? So you're not going to get too much better than right here where it's at. So if I missed that 2024 open this time, then we'll see. I do like the price to continue though. ES looks good. Never came down and touched that liquidity though. Okay. Just being patient here in these last 15 minutes here. So right in here, I'm going to take a trade, right? So I'm basically playing off this down candle, and I want to see if it's going to slip this internal, then fine, right? But if it's not, then I do want to see it at least extend up to New York before that, if it can do it. Now, if it just comes down and slips the internal and then goes, so be it. But this area doesn't look bad, I don't think, to at least start to the tennis ball dropped here, right? At least go back above 250s. And so, like I said, currently I'm at a $400 loss on the day. So I'm looking for 4 times trade, looking for like a $1,200 win or more, or like $1,600 gain, and then that will make up for anything as well. 17,250 if this does play out potentially, which, like I said, it might be a little early on here because it could end up hitting that 1 minute down candle. But if the 5 minute, basically, when you're looking at the 5 minute print, if the 5 minute print can stay somewhat relative to this, my computer's kind of wilding out today too now. If this 1 minute print can stay, or excuse me, 5 minute print can stay above this line going into the end of the day, then there's a higher chance that this could work out. Anything below this line, right? And those could be the better orders, like we were talking about. Internal 5 minute, 15 minute ranges. So just kind of depends, next minute, if this candle closes below this line and you see too much aggressiveness coming in, then it could be, done. But if this 5 minute closes above this line and probably above 2024 open, then you probably could see possible price go up to 17,250s. But again, my stop loss is inside the internal part of the range, so it might just come tap me out right here, and then I would be done. Oh, come on. And I'm going to use the 5 minute body for my stop loss placement on that closer to make it better. No, it's only 50% of the 1 minute candle, which is trash. Usually we like to use that 15 minute low. But like I said, if they can hold this down candle inside the 15 minute range, and then rally back up above, back above 17,216, that 2024 open fairly quickly, then that could work out. But I do think they could come down and tap this area, unfortunately. Let me check this over here and reduce it down. Okay, it's fine. And so, like I said, just the positioning, for day one this week is trash right now because needed to wait a little bit longer about being impatient. Ooh, they're gonna slip right into that. So that'll be it for today on futures because let me see what this is looking like over here. So I got one stopped out over there too. And I have one floating. Yeah, so guys, I think they're gonna go lower for today because you wanna see once they close that 5 minute that they may hold this, like they may hold this area right here. But like I said, for today, I have to be done based off the numbers. But we'll continue to watch this till 10 really quick and see if they end up just holding that 1 minute, 5 minute area. $264 stop loss, 40 minutes. Okay. So see if they break this 15 like that 5, which they already did on the 15 and the 5, but they still haven't broke that small time price action yet. So when you get that actual closure, like right here on that far right screen, like lower low, then there's a chance that they could definitely, be done. Let me check this really quick. And ES did topple over, so maybe they'll come finally for that liquidity. Yeah, so that's probably gonna be it for that one today. Because they're going lower. I mean, the 15 minutes to 1 hour, the 4 hours all look pretty bare. So that is what it is. Friday wasn't the best. I think I was being a little bit impatient because my birthday. And today, predetermined, but just wasn't the best. So yeah, those 15 and 5s are going lower, so I wouldn't attempt them. My CFD position came back to its entry. Did pretty okay on there with some partials, but let me write a couple notes here, and then this will be it for this. Let me mark up these. Okay, cool. So for the stream parts for today, that's going to be it. 'Cause, I mean, they may hold this 15-minute low, but 1 hour low, but I have no idea, and I don't want to keep waiting. So I appreciate you guys watching today. Like I said, there's a couple things I could obviously do differently. I need to focus a little bit more, I would say, on those fast pushes right before or right after that New York Open. There's a good 5 minute fast push, and then automatic and 2 candles close lower than the open, and then the pump back up. Now, like I always tell you guys, I'm a better buyer than seller. So like when I see that fast push off that takes out traders, right, and price rebalances, I've got to be ready to take that area at point of interest. All right. So it may work out later today. We'll see. But appreciate you guys. Y'all have a good rest of your day. And appreciate you watching the recording. Have a good day. Dun, dun.
Of course they're gonna pay the 15 minutes.